We are going to get started with our online webinar using DesignPLUS and Canvas to address QM standards for course design. First, a few brief housekeeping items. As I mentioned, I am speaking now, so you should hear audio. If you don't, you can use the audio settings to check your audio setup. And you see some instructions on the screen there. You can also make use of the live captioning that'll be available, and the link to that will be posted in the chat. Your voice will be muted during the webinar, but if you have questions, please feel free to post them in the Q&A box during the webinar. You can also use the chat box to talk with your colleagues about the presentation sort of informally, but be sure to select all panelists and attendees so that your colleagues will see what you have to say. Otherwise, it will only go to the panelists. And if you'd like to share how you'll use something that you learned today, please feel free to tweet at QM Program or at Cidi Labs. All right, so we'll begin the recording now and officially welcome everyone here to our online learning webinar using DesignPLUS in Canvas to address QM standards for course design. I'm Jillian Jevack. I'm the Instructional Design Manager at Quality Matters, and with me today is Mike Zackrison, Chief Executive Officer of Cidi Labs, Kenneth Larson, Lead Developer and Inventor of Cidi Labs, and Alicia Reed, Instructional Technology Coordinator at Laredo College. Unfortunately, Nichole Lemmon was scheduled to present today, but she's unable to present with us today. So we do have Kenneth here, which is a real treat to have him here to show us a little bit about the Cidi Labs tools. First, I'm going to tell you just a brief bit about Quality Matters. It's the global organization leading quality assurance in online and innovative digital teaching and learning environments. We provide a scalable quality assurance system for online and blended learning that's used within and across organizations. So when you see QM certification marks, it means they've met rigorous sets of standards in a rigorous review process. We have just about over 1,300 institutions who are members in 21 countries, and we're used by higher ed, K-12, and continuing and professional education organizations. I'm going to turn it over to Mike now to tell you a little bit about Cidi Labs.
Hi, Jillian. Thank you for that introduction, and welcome everyone. We're excited to participate with Quality Matters today in this webinar. So a little bit about Cidi Labs. We are a company that provides tools for Canvas that help organizations scale their online course development and delivery practices. We, next slide, Jillian. We entered into a partnership just recently with Quality Matters, and we're really excited about that. We attended our first Quality Matters conference probably about 2, maybe 3 years ago as a vendor partner, and noticed that 2 of our customers presented at that conference unbeknownst to us. And so we knew immediately that there was a lot of overlap between what our tools can help accomplish and some of the goals and the needs of the Quality Matters community. So last year we approached the Quality Matters team about a partnership, and we knew that they were transitioning to Canvas and moving a lot of their professional development over to Canvas. So we offered to allow them to use our tools at no cost to aid in that process and to help with designing some of the materials that all of you will experience there in their Canvas environment. And also saw an opportunity to, through the partnership, expand awareness of Quality Matters within our client base. And so we're really excited about the opportunity to partner and to present today as part of that, and to just be 2 organizations that care deeply about providing high quality online learning experiences. So thank you for that. So a little bit more about Cidi Labs. We have a little different business model. We actually take locally developed tools that solve important challenges. So that means these are tools developed by generally university partners in-house. They've created some sort of tool to solve a problem that they have around their Canvas implementation. So we partner with them. Go ahead to the next slide. And we take their technology, put it into the cloud, wrap it with training and support and other services. And through this mechanism, provide a means of what we call SaaS sharing these locally developed solutions to provide them on a broader scale within the Canvas community. We are a small company. Go ahead to the next slide. We started in 2016 as a spin out from Utah State University Center for Innovative Design and Instruction. We're a small team, fewer than 10 people, but we have quite a bit of experience, over 90 years of experience among the team in various capacities around ed tech and instructional design and using Canvas and so forth. And we've have the good fortune of working with over 260 clients. We're actually over 280 clients now, but and two of them, we work with clients both in K-12 and also higher education. And Springfield Public Schools is an example of one of our K-12 customers. And we're sorry that Dr. Lemmon was unable to join us today, but they're an example of a K-12 customer that we work with. And then we're excited to have Alicia here from Laredo College to present a community college's perspective on using these tools. In our portfolio of products, go ahead to the next slide, we have 4 products, 3 of which came from our partnership with Utah State University, DesignPLUS, Tidy Up, and the ReadyGo course development tracker tool. Those are the 3 that have been developed by Utah State. And then last year we partnered with University Central Florida, who developed the You Do It accessibility checker for Canvas. And we partnered with them to not only continue the roadmap of that product, but also bring that product into a cloud service for the broader community. Today's presentation, go ahead to the next slide, is going to focus on DesignPLUS. And DesignPLUS is our integrated course design tool set for Canvas that makes it really easy to rapidly build engaging courses inside Canvas without having to know a lot of HTML and CSS to do that. And the inventor of DesignPLUS is Kenneth Larson, and he is going to present a short demo for us.
Thanks, Mike. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to Kenneth to share his screen and give you this demo.
Hey, sounds like fun. So as was mentioned, my name's Kenneth Larson, and the tools that we're going to take a look at today are really some tools that came out of my work as an instructional designer and also as a programmer at Utah State University. I started back in 2013. I was working on my master's to become an instructional designer, and I was hired to help faculty build their courses in Canvas. And there was some repetition involved. I have a background in web development, so there were things I really wanted to do with the courses that I built to make them look nice and engaging and work with students to help improve the quality of those courses. But there were things that were very difficult to do just with Canvas out of the box. And so I was very fortunate to have a boss that let me start hacking Canvas to see if I could get it to do some other fun things. And so that's what we're going to take a look at today, is how we can take and use some of these tools to quickly develop our courses, have a nice consistent look and feel, address some of those quality and accessibility standards, etc. So I have a blank Canvas course here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the course settings, and I'm going to turn on one of our, DesignPLUS actually has 3 different tools. There is a set of tools that are available when we're working in the rich content editor that allow you to theme and templatize and have some fun there. There's a tool called the multi-tool, which we're going to turn on right now to help us rapidly build out our course structure. And then there's a third tool that'll let us help us work with images when we're working in the rich content editor. So I've gone ahead and turned on the multi-tool, and I'm just going to come in here, open this up inside of Canvas, and this is going to help us kind of get a feel and build out our course. So I'm going to go ahead and start here at the top with the template builder. And I'm going to go ahead and set Canvas to have a front page so that we can have a nice landing area for our students to come to. And I'm also going to set this so that that home link in Canvas points to that page as well. And we'll build this page out here in just a minute. But the main thing that I want to think about in the template builder is I want to think about the different pieces that are going to make up my course. So let's say that in each of the modules I'm going to build out, I want to have an overview page. And then maybe I'm going to be creating some lab assignments, and maybe we've got some, group discussions that we want to build out. And maybe I've got some end of unit quizzes. It's really just allowing us to create shells for different types of content inside of Canvas. And then we can open these up to start turning them into a template. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this overview page here. And then the second tool we're going to take a look at is this Design Tools sidebar here. This is where this will allow us to kind of work with our content in the rich content editor. So when we're working with new content, there's kind of two main ways that we can start. We can start by coming in here and pulling in template content. This would allow us to duplicate tools that we have or pages that we already have in Canvas, or we can pull in some institutional templates. We do have a lot of institutions who will build out templates that address a lot of those quality matter rubrics and standards there that we can pull in, or I can just start from scratch by building out a page here. So each of these buttons represent the different themes that are available that kind of control the look and feel. And so I can select the theme I want. I have this nice stylized heading here now. And because this is a template, I'm not going to worry about the text of that. But we're going to come in and we're going to add what we call content blocks. So this is this idea of grouping or chunking our content. So let's say that in this overview page, I need to have an introduction. We're going to talk about objectives. We're going to have some readings, some lectures, talk about our assignments, whatever the case may be. We can set up these different templates at the institution level. Also, maybe I want to talk about some current events. So I can also create my own blocks here inside this course. We can drag and drop and rearrange these. We can come in and let's say I want to add a nice little icon here. So let's search for an icon to go along with that. And so really the idea here is to build as much of the structure as we can. So we have to repeat ourselves as little as possible when it comes time to building content. And so I can use any of the tools that are built into Canvas. I can use the Design Tools sidebar because it is creating content inside of native Canvas. And so I can go ahead and save that. I can return to the multi-tool and complete that process with all of my other templates. So typically focusing on the rich content editor, but I can also set a lot of the other settings and things that apply to those pieces of content as well. And then once I've got all my templates set up, the next step is to move on to the module builder, where I can take a step back and say, okay, now that I have these pieces, what does a typical module going to look like in this course? So let's say I want to break up my course by units, and I want to create 5 units. And in each of these units, I want to go ahead and throw in an overview page that's based off of that overview template we just created. But I can throw in assignments, discussions, quizzes, little text headers. We can drag and drop and rearrange. We can indent things. We can remove things. Let's say this is going to be the lab assignment for our unit and based off our lab template and submitted online. And typically I want those to be 100 points a piece. So I'm really just going through and saying, okay, what is going to make up a typical module in my course? And then I'll go ahead and generate the module list, which will duplicate that pattern for as many modules as I wanted to create. And then I can come start customizing this as an outline. So let's say that this is going to be our introduction, and we want this to be called Welcome to Class. And I'm not going to have a quiz in this first unit. So this allows me to come through, let's say Unit 2 is getting started, Unit 3 is halfway there, Unit 4 is almost finished, and Unit 5 is our conclusion. And so I'm outlining my course, and I can actually save the progress of this so I can work on this outline for a couple of days to a couple of weeks as needed. And then when I've got everything set up the way I want, I can go ahead and add the modules to the course. And this is using the Canvas API in the background to go through and, create all of that content, build out those modules. When I started at Utah State, when we would help faculty build out a shell so they could start putting in content for an online course, they'd sit down with one of our instructional designers, they'd talk for half an hour to an hour, look at some example courses, go over the syllabus, then they'd separate, and the instructional designer or one of our student interns would spend 4 hours to 2 days building out a shell that they could hand over. Now they'll actually use these tools, and by the end of a half hour to hour consultation, they walk out with a built-out course shell that they can start customizing. If we take a look at that welcome to class page, we didn't need to worry about the heading because when we create that with the module builder, it puts in how we're breaking up our content, and we've got, you know, our heading there. So now I need to just edit this and put in the content that's tied to this course. Now, when it comes to working with these tools, we have a lot of different things built in here, from the ability to, let me come in here and here, we'll take a look at this one. We do factor in things like accessibility and structure. You have the ability to control a lot of the different pieces at the institution level. With this sidebar itself, we have working with content. So we added in those content blocks, rearranging things. We have nice front page themes you can choose from. There's also the ability in here to customize the style of things. And this really changes based on where I'm working. So when I'm working with an image, I get tools for working with images, letting me set their alt text, adjusting their size and position. When I'm working with a link, I can quickly, you know, adjust the settings of links, turn them into buttons, etc. I can work with lists, tables. This will allow me to quickly set things like the headings. Because with setting headings, you have to make sure you have the appropriate heading structure in HTML, as well as the appropriate scopes, letting screen reader users know what that heading applies to. So there's a lot of different things like that built in. We also have built-in accessibility checks to allow you to quickly review your heading structure and adjust your headings up and down to make sure that they are set up correctly, and working with your images and quickly setting alternative text, or quickly looking through the text of all of your links so that if you find things like click here and more and click for details that don't make sense out of context, you can quickly go in and adjust those as well. So there's a lot of different things that we can do there. If we take a look at this, let's come back to this course here and let's create a nice front page for this. So I'm going to go to that home page. I'm going to go ahead and edit this. And then we're going to go ahead and come into the Design Tools sidebar. And I'm going to go ahead and choose a theme. Now, this knows I'm looking at the front page in Canvas. So as I look at these themes, in addition to that stylized heading, I'm going to get a banner image, some navigation section there, a little message letting me know what kind of image ratio to choose for these. So I can go ahead and add that in there. If I want, at the institution level, you can set the default image, but most of the time you want the image to reflect the subject being taught. So I can go ahead and select this placeholder image and open up our third tool here that will allow me to come into my Canvas course or my computer, or search unsplash.com or pexels.com to go ahead and find an image that I want to use. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab one here from my computer and pull that in there. And I can go ahead and crop this and choose that recommended or required image ratio, pick the portion of this image that I'd like to go ahead and use for my banner, go ahead and crop that. I can come in here and set the appropriate alternative text, choose where I want that to go in my course, and then go ahead and upload and embed it. So it gives you a lot of different things when you're building out your content. Within the multi-tool, there are some other tools in here. One of our faculty's favorites is a due date modifier that allows you to go through and work through your different assignments, discussions, and quizzes, and set their due dates, lock dates, unlock dates. All of that we can set in one place. We can do some bulk updating, set default times, etc. So that's kind of how the tools work. But I want to show you just the wide variety of things that you can do with the tools that are available in that rich content editor sidebar. So you have the different themes that you can choose from. We have a wide variety of these, and when we set up for an institution, we adjust the branding to match the institution's color palette. But then there's just all these different styles that you can pick and choose from that's really just changing the look and feel of the content. So you can have a consistent user experience, but that doesn't necessarily mean everything has to look exactly the same. You have that ability to add your content blocks. We also don't want to, there's a lot you can do with the sidebar, and we don't want to overwhelm people. So we've actually broken it down into what we call comfort levels. So everybody starts out at a basic level. At that basic level, they can choose a theme, they can work with the front page pieces, they can add content blocks. They can also play with those basic styling things, adding borders to images, working with their links and tables, making tables that are sortable alphanumerically, working with ordered and unordered lists, working with iframed content. So most of the ways you bring in external content into Canvas uses iframes. So we can have some fun with the look and feel of those. As far as the icons we have the icons that are default to Canvas, as well as in a font called Font Awesome. So there's over 2,000 that are keyword indexed and available there for you to choose from. Then as an individual user, you can go in and turn on additional tools. So at what we consider more the intermediate level, you can start to play with styling. So adding borders, working with margins and padding, working with colors. The color picker will actually let you know the WCAG 2.0 accessibility rating to let you know the appropriate color contrast from what you have selected. We have a bunch of built-in block alerts and text emphasis and highlights and badge styles. You can start to build dynamic panel widgets, things like tabs and accordions. And then we have a variation of accordion called expanders, where you can actually open multiple panels at a time, or you can expand or collapse the whole group. We have module progress indicators that you can add in to give students a visual indication of where they are as they're working their way through a module. We can quickly add information about your modules to different pages, adding information about teachers and TAs. At the advanced level, a lot of what you get there is for people like myself of perhaps somewhat questionable sanity, who may actually enjoy things like working with HTML and CSS. But there's other fun tools that let you create your own custom border styles that can be applied to images and paragraphs and other content. We can build pop-up content like tooltips and popovers and modal dialogues. We have these little ungraded multiple choice questions called quick checks that are really just a quick formative assessment. So you can ask students a question, and when they answer, they get immediate feedback of whether they understood that or not, or maybe you need to provide some additional correction. And then if what you've seen is not enough fun, we also have what we call HTML snippets, which are really just pre-configured chunks of content that you can insert into the rich content editor. And we've built a bunch of these for you, things like block quotes, additional heading levels, pre-formatted text and code blocks, alerts and callouts in a variety of styles, the ability to work with column layouts, adding fun little horizontal divider lines, adding in images with captions in a variety of styles and layouts. And then at the institution level, you also have the ability to build your own HTML snippets. Now, some of the other things that are available become available when you're working in the course syllabus. So in the syllabus section of Canvas, the tools are pretty much the same, but there are a few additional features. And so if we come in and we take a look at our syllabus tools, I can still come in and I can go ahead and choose the theme that I like. I can add content blocks, but these template blocks are set unique to the syllabus. So maybe I'll throw in a course description, some course objectives, some Canvas support information. If I have a grading scheme set on the current course, I can go ahead and pull that in. If I don't, this will offer to walk me through how to actually set up a grading scheme in Canvas. And then the other piece that's unique to the syllabus is the ability to add in what we call policy blocks. So if I throw in this example policies block, this is the way that you can add kind of that legalese stuff that you want everybody to have in their syllabus, but nobody can ever remember where to find it, or they add it in there once and never think about it again. These can be set up in such a way that you can easily add in the different policies that you need. This is like sexual harassment, withdrawal policies, disability statements, cheating, all of that different types of content. These are actually locked inside of Canvas, so a teacher can't just change that in the page. But what ends up happening with these is anytime you come in and edit the syllabus, what's going to happen is it's going to go out to where that policy is defined at the institution level, grab the current state of the policies, and then replace what's in the syllabus with those updated policies. So as long as they're kept up to date at the institution level, it'll make sure those policies are up to date in the course level. Now, that's kind of the basis of design tools. I have seen there have been a lot of questions coming through here, and I think we're going to try and address most of those at the end. I can also potentially, jump in as we're listening to some of the others and address those as well. Okay, Jillian, back to you.
Great, thanks, Kenneth. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. Okay, and so I'll talk a little bit now about QM's use of DesignPLUS. And yeah, as you can see, I think from Kenneth's demo, there is a lot of capability and functionality in the tools, and it's very exciting. We began using the tools back in January of 2020 as we were beginning our transition from Moodle to Canvas. And for me, I think the DesignPLUS tools just make things so much more efficient, and it also just looks better, which is, no small thing, really, I think. So on the slide here, you can see the image of one of our Introduce Yourself forums as it looked in Moodle on the left. So the before version in Moodle with no DesignPLUS tools in use. And then, yeah, the after format just looks so much better with DesignPLUS in Canvas. We used the tools to make the styled headings with the colors and icons and lines. We're using the basic bar 2 theme that you might have seen in Kenneth's demo. And what I wish I had, but I don't because I got rid of it once I realized what the DesignPLUS tools could do for us, is the intermediate part where we were trying to achieve the look of the DesignPLUS tools after image on the right without the use of DesignPLUS tools. We were trying to do some of the headings, the colored bars to set up things with the icons, and it was not only more difficult to do, it also just did not look as good. And so I was really excited when we began using the DesignPLUS tools, and we were able to easily give our assignments, discussions, quizzes, and other content pages a little bit of a makeover during the Canvas transition. So we already had the components there, but we were able to give them this makeover. And I think that that is more than just a cosmetic change. I think it does also facilitate the readability of the page. And that's the focus of specific review standard 8.2 in the higher ed and K-12 rubrics, if you're familiar with our rubrics. And our participants really seem to like it as well. We've gotten some inquiries about, how did you do that? How did you get that to look like that? Especially those who have been familiar with what our courses looked like in Moodle before we made the transition. So at QM, myself and one other instructional designer are primarily responsible for the design of all our courses and workshops. And we strive for a lot of consistency and, of course, to meet our own standards. So with the DesignPLUS tools, we can define the different blocks of content that we want to use throughout all of our courses and workshops. And a lot of those are, of course, are designed to meet the different QM standards. So when we didn't have DesignPLUS, we had a template course that we would have to go into, copy sort of the standard phrasing or standard setup that we wanted to use, go into the course you're working on, put it in there, and then go back and forth. With DesignPLUS, it's all right there. We open up the panel, we bring our content in, and that made things a lot easier. And there's this awesome selection to block tool that I don't think Kenneth showed, or I might have missed it, that made it really easy to put those headings in there. So on the screen, you have a couple of examples of the different blocks that we use. We use a syllabus technologies block in our syllabus that has a link to our minimum technology requirements page, and then has some wording to the instructional designer that if there's any special technology for this course, then you might need to add that here into the block. We also have this back to start here block that is a navigational tool we use at the bottom of our syllabi pages to direct participants back to the start here page that they were on. So a navigational that supports good navigation as required by the QM rubric. And then we also have some of these blocks like the reminder for the firm due date. And I have a great instructional designer on my team who's been really taking good advantage of the more advanced tools that Kenneth mentioned as we're learning more and more about DesignPLUS tools to really make the different snippets of content on the pages really increase readability, draw attention to particular things we really want to focus on, and help participants work through the instructions for our assignments in a little bit better way than we were able to do before. So it's all about continuous improvement at Quality Matters, and that is something that we have found we're able to easily support with the DesignPLUS tools that we've had access to. So I am going to turn it over to Laredo College and my colleague Alicia here to give you a bit of a demo of what they are doing at Laredo College. So let me go ahead and stop sharing, Alicia, and let you take over.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So let me show you I'm not as good at explaining Cidi Labs as Kenneth is, and he does it super fast, but I'm gonna try my best. I just wanna show you how the before and after, how Cidi Labs has helped community college evolve in regarding quality matters. So what you're seeing over here is a template that we used to have back in 2017 or so. So as you can see, it's so plain and simple. This would be the homepage, and it's so plain and simple. And as a student, to be honest, it's not that attractive, but this is what we had. After you will come into the course, what students would have to do is go to the modules. And there we had created a module, a super long module with tons of pages in it with all the information that they needed and to meet the standards. So just to show you, if you go into one of the pages, this is what we had. Black and white text, not attractive at all, to be honest. And once you finish reading all this page, the student will have to go next and read another long page, and then next, and read another long page, and so on and so forth. So like I said, it was not attractive for the students at all. So we kind of reinvent the wheel, and we learned a little bit of HTML, but to be honest, we were not good at all. And we created this template back in 2019. This is before we met Cidi Labs. So as you can see, this was a little bit more, it has a little bit of more color. It's the same information, it's the description of the course, prerequisites. We learned how to do tabs over here, which we were very proud of. So we tried to fit as much information as we could in the home page. So to be honest, we were covering almost all standards, most of the standards, I'm sorry, in the home page by adding these tabs. But the issue here is, because we created with HTML, one, not all our instructors are very familiar with HTML, or some are not familiar at all. So whenever they wanted to edit a page, if they go the backspace too much, they would delete the HTML, or they would place it outside of the tab. It would really mess it up. Also, what happened with this template that we had back then, if you click on the different tabs, as you can see, the tabs get bigger, get smaller as the text. So we didn't do a good job, to be honest with you. Once we made Cidi Labs, we were able to come up with this, which is way more attractive, way more well organized. And I'm gonna show you what we've done. So this is the homepage. It's the same information that we had before, the course, the name of the course. Here we will put the description of the course description that we get from the catalog, the prerequisites, and the course objectives. So just on the home page, we're covering at least 3 standards just to start in a very well-organized way. The content blocks, we love them. You can see where it's one and where's another one. The students can go straight to and identify the information that they're looking for. Of course, we adapt this to every course. We don't have the same image for all the courses. The instructors can choose their own image, but this is all our courses look the same. Then here we created a Start Here page. So of course, the intent of the template is just fill in the blanks, kind of. So what we did is we created this template with content blocks, like I said, very well organized. And all the instructors get to do is we already fill in most of the information. Our template covers 30 out of the 42 specific standards. So all they got to do is change whatever is in red. So as you can see, here will be their introduction, their contact information. Then the next content block is the course structure. Here we say it's in modules, it has quizzes, assignments, the beginning of the course, when is the end of the course. If they need to go to the syllabus, here's a link to the syllabus. But here we cover about a couple of standards just in that section. Then the next one is the netiquette. Same thing, we explain everything. The instructors don't need to change anything. The course policies, they just need to change this little piece over here, but as well, we're covering at least 2 to 3 standards in this paragraph. Technology requirements, computer skills, and then we go to the next page. So as you can see, just in this page is a lot of information, but what we love about Cidi Labs, it helps us organize it very, very well. Students can easily identify, like I said, any information that they need. They can just scroll down and see, oh, this is what we need, because the titles stand out on the content blocks. The other page that we had created with Cidi Labs is more resources. In this particular case, we do this kind of the second part of the specific standards. We have the grading policy. We have this table, which is accessible. We created with the tools from Cidi Labs. All the instructors got to do is just change the numbers, change the name of the assignments and the percentages. Here, we were able to compress a lot of information. In this particular case, we have the rubrics, and we change it for every course. But here, we do it like an image, or you can do it as a table. But you see, it's so easy and so very organized. It's attractive to the eye for the students, and all our courses look the same, so they all know, regardless if it's a math, English, a biology course, they know where to find the information. Instructional materials, same thing. We will put here the name of the book, or if it's a third-party product or anything, we will put it in this particular section, in this content block. Feedback, all this is very well organized as well, in the sense that all the information that they need to know, because we wanted to compress it and not to make it all text just like that. We were able to do it on the expanders, which worked great. So as you can see, yes, these are very long pages, but we believe they're very well organized. They're attractive to the students. Of course, in this case, we're using our college colors, but we have received very, very good comments from the students, in the sense that they don't need to read the whole page to find out what book do I need. They can just go straight and find it easily, like instructional materials. That's all I need to read. And they know they just gotta focus on this particular section. So they love it. We also use Cidi Labs, as Jillian was mentioning earlier. We also do, when we're creating the assignments, we also do kind of a template. These are the 3 requirements that we ask our instructors to have on all their assignments. Of course, they can add more, and depending on the situation, we add more content blocks. But as you can see, always the students will know, why am I doing this assignment? Why do I need to do it? Because many times, as we know, some assignments may worth 100 points or may worth nothing. It's just for practice. But we think we need not to explain to the students, but we need to tell them, this is the reason why you will benefit if you do this assignment. You will learn this. You will learn the colors, the numbers, whatever the case may be. Very well explain instructions. These are the instructions, and where they can call, where they can go in case they need support. So we also use Cidi Labs for our assignments. We also use, we don't have it in this template, but we also use, as Kenneth was mentioning earlier, how to create the modules. We use that as well. And we do it case by case, because depending on the course. But as you can see, Cidi Labs has really, really helped us organize. Like I said, we believe it's very attractive for the students. It has helped us, like I said, to meet 30 standards out of the 42. And the other 12 that we need to meet are totally up to the instructor, in the sense of that's the alignment. And we cover that on what we call the course map, but that's totally just the alignment, the creation of the assignments, the creation of the objectives, all of that. So on the design section, like I said, we cover most of them, more than 50%. And that has been thanks to Cidi Labs, because it has really helped us organize a lot of information in a, we believe, in a very attractive way, very straight to the point. And it was so easy. Once you start playing with Cidi Labs, it's so easy. You like it and you start creating more and more and more. I know maybe when Kenneth was doing the presentation, it's a lot of information, but believe me, you get the hang of it super, super quick, and it's really easy to use. So let me stop sharing.
Alicia, before you stop sharing, there was a
Yes.
request. There was a request to show your course shell in student view. Is that something you could do?
Yes. So this is how they see it. That's the student view. And when the student comes in, they know they have to start there. And all of this would be changed already and changed to black text once the instructor does all the changes. Then they will go to more resources, and that's the other page. And this is how they will see it. And then from here, they will start with their course content. In this particular case, with their discussion or module 1 or whatever the case may be. So what do you all think?
Excellent.
It looks
great.
great.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I can just quickly show, just as an example of you know, how things can look differently. I think, you know, Alicia's looks great, and you can quickly, you know, you can use the tools in many different ways. So you can have that look and feel that I think, you know, works well for you or your institution using the branded colors. And so, you know, just to show, like, for instance, our homepage in Quality Matters, you know, can look differently, but you can still have different icons, different setup. And we're learning a lot more about the tools and working with them and coming up with different ways to do things. But I think that that's one of the nice things about the tools, is that you can, you know, just click through and have things look different ways and change things up and use the features and still allow for, and so have some templatized things, but still allow for maybe a little bit of creativity and flexibility that faculty, I know, you know, really like to have if you're able to allow that at your institution and do that. So I think that that's really nice feature of the tools. And I'll stop sharing there and let us turn to, I think it is questions. I know we had a lot of questions and we have about 17 minutes left. So I think we should be able to get to several of those. So please use the Q&A to post those questions, and I'll let Mike, it looked like you had a lot that you wanted to answer, so I'll let you go ahead and answer those.
Yeah, I will try to get through these. We do have a lot of questions coming in. Alicia, while we've got you, let's direct some questions your way. Can you comment a little bit on, you already commented a little bit on the impact on the student experience. Is there any more you can elaborate on that? And then also on the flip side, the faculty experience with the tools, there's some questions about whether this is too complicated for faculty to engage with and that kind of thing.
Sure. Well, as you saw the other template, the previous ones, besides the fact that they were ugly, to be honest, some instructors, of course, didn't want to use it. So one of the things that we saw is every semester, every session that we started, students will have to learn the course, not the content, just where do I find what? So if you're taking 4 courses, 6 courses, whatever the case may be, you have to learn that, and it may take you up to a week depending on the situation. So when we created the templates, it helped to eliminate that, but when we created it with Cidi Labs, since it's so easy to copy that template to all the courses pretty much at once, because we do blueprint. So it's so easy, even the students comment that now I know, regardless if I take 10 courses, I know where the information is going to be, because all of them has the same template, the same way to do it. The same thing for the instructors, even though you're teaching English 1301, 1302, 23, 27, and whatever's, they know where they have, because it's a template, and once again, it's so organized. They just need to go instructional materials. This is what I need to make a change. Start here, start end date of the course. This is what I need to change. So all they gotta focus, it's on the content. So because we know they're not instructional designers in our institution, that most of the instructors are SMEs. They're not actually course design. So it's so easy for them just to have a template and go to particular areas where they have to change. But anything else, besides the fact that sometimes they're not very technical, they don't know what the student will need. Is it okay to have a laptop? Is it okay to have a tablet? Is it okay to have a desktop? So because we're already putting all that information in there, they don't have to worry about. So they really like it, they really love it. And like I said, they just concentrate on the content, which is, you know, their expertise.
Excellent, thank you. There was a question here, Jillian, a request to see your QM course shell in student view. Is that something you could do?
Sure. Let me go here.
And actually, while you're pulling that up, I can also add a little bit to that last question. So at Utah State, we actually did a study of student performance in courses both that did not use DesignPLUS as well as the courses that did. And it did register a significant increase in student performance for the courses that did use it. And that was particularly noticeable in first generation students as far as the courses that they went through and reviewed. The first generation students particularly excelled when the courses were designed using these tools.
That's great, Kenneth. That's great to hear. So our student view of one of our courses here that uses our template has our brief intro. The links here that we use to direct folks to some quick access items are created using the navigation block tool of the DesignPLUS tools. So that's been a helpful feature. The Start Here page has different blocks of standardized information that we use in all of our courses and workshops. We have the, give it a moment there. There you can see the participant agreement a little bit better, has the different headings like Alicia's had for kind of an overview and purpose of the assignment. What are the instructions to complete it? If you have any questions. And let me go over to modules. And similarly with our introduce yourself discussion, we have the different sections and headings that previously in Moodle were just sort of black and white, different headings. I know my instructional designer is working on some more advanced features with some of the tabs and the accordions and different call out boxes that she was showing me the other day, but I don't have them in here yet because we're still working on it because we're still learning the tools and taking advantage of them and making our courses even better with them. Is there anything else in particular that is being posted in chat that anyone would like to see in our?
They wanted to see it in modules view, which I think you're showing
Okay.
here.
Yeah, so our modules look, you know, pretty similar, I think, to what they would look like without the DesignPLUS tools, but we have the different items in here using our sort of overview, lessons, quizzes, assignments, and then moving on to each module summary and next steps.
Yeah, so we don't do anything to actually change the style and look of the modules page because there's not really a way to do that on a course-by-course basis. We do have a few different tools that allow you to pull some of that information into just a normal page so that you can add additional information around it. But in general, the modules page just looks like the modules page.
Kenneth, there are a number of questions about accessibility. Could you maybe review some of the things that DesignPLUS helps with accessibility-wise? And I don't know if we have time to, review all the, or actually see all the features, but
I can do a high-level review. So all of the content that's been built, all the sidebar, et cetera, has been designed to meet accessibility standards. I have been a web developer for 10 years. I've attended like the WebAIM trainings, et cetera. So I try and build everything to meet that compliance guideline. Also, I still work at Utah State University, and when I'm not home due to COVID, for most of the time, for about 6 of the 7 years that I worked there, I actually sat 2 desks away from our university accessibility guru. And so everything that I built, if I ever had questions, I'd ask him, I'd make him review things, he'd look things up for me so that we could make sure that it does that. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't build inaccessible content, because Canvas is still a rich content editor. But we do have built-in checks to look at things like image alternative text, your heading structure, like I showed you, the ability to quickly set headings for tables, whether that's the first row is headings or the first column is headings, adding things like captions to your tables, working with alt text for images, looking at links out of context so that you can make sure that the link text you're showing would make sense to a screen reader user out of context. When you get to the more intermediate and advanced levels and can start to play with colors, we do give you color pickers, and when you choose a color, when you select something, it will let you know if the current colors meet accessibility guidelines, meaning that there's sufficient contrast between the background and the text color. And if you choose a color, like if you set a background color on an element, it will actually dynamically identify whether black text or white text gives you the best contrast for that element to help make sure that what you're creating meets that accessibility guideline. Anything I missed, Mike?
No, I think that was a great overview. There were several questions about the syllabus and whether the syllabus can be printed, or if it can be linked to PDF syllabi, or maybe there's just some confusion about our tools and how they work with the Canvas syllabus.
Yeah, so the tools are just creating content in the syllabus section of Canvas. They have been built in such a way that you can use your browser and just hit print. Canvas strips away all its user interface stuff. We do things to like make sure that if you're using expanders or tabs, they are opened up so that you can see all of the content in a printed PDF. So you do have that ability to print it. But it's really just helping you build HTML. And actually that kind of goes into one of the other questions that was asked that I saw in there earlier, is how well this works on a copy. So because of the fact that these tools are building content inside of native Canvas, it works with all of the delivery methods that are available in Canvas. You can build blueprint courses with it. You can share stuff up to Canvas Commons and bring it back into different courses. You can use the course copy, the course export, import, because it's really just building that content into Canvas. And if you were to share that content with another institution that is using DesignPLUS, because of the fact that we brand institutions, their color palettes and stuff separately, unless you've manually created and overridden colors, it would come in and match the branding and styling of that additional institution as well.
Kenneth, can you talk a little bit about who has access to the tools and how they get installed and how they can be limited or rolled out a little bit on those topics?
Absolutely. So there are the 3 different tools. They are installed at an account level in Canvas. That can be the root account, or for like a full institution, it could be like a departmental sub account if it was just going in for like a specific department. It just resides at the account level. The pop-out sidebar is added using the ability that Canvas gives to add CSS and JavaScript at an account level. So that gets uploaded into the Canvas theme editor. And then there are the 2 LTI tools that just get added at the account like normal LTI tools. We do also have the ability to limit access. So by default, it's available to anyone who can create and build course content. But there's the ability with that little pop-out sidebar, you open it with the little button in the top corner. One of our most common methods for limiting the tools is to just hide that button. What that allows you to do is if you're building templates and sharing it out to faculty, with the tools hidden, it still is going to bring in all of the styling and everything into the rich content editor. So your faculty could go through and fill out the little gaps and fill in the content in the templates you've created. Even if they don't know that sidebar exists, they can still work with that content. There are also ways we can be a little more strict. We can tie it to like a course format in Canvas. So if you only wanted it available for courses that are set to be online, we can tie it to that. We can limit it down to just like admin teacher roles. So only those users can use it, although students wouldn't really see the pop-out sidebar. What the students would see was that upload embed image tool, like if they were participating in a discussion response. And then we can even go as strict as saying, you give us a list of user IDs and only the people that are in that list have the ability to see those tools in Canvas.
Excellent. Thanks, Kenneth, for that. So there are a number of questions here about how the tools are licensed and how you can get access to them and those kinds of things. So these are an add-on to Canvas. They are licensed separately from your Canvas instance. You're licensing them from Cidi Labs. We provide the ongoing support and maintenance for the tools. Canvas provides releases every 3 weeks, and so we're on top of those releases, ensuring that your content created with the tools as well as the tools themselves continue to work from release to release within Canvas. And the licensing ranges from about $3,000 a year for an enterprise license, about $3,000 a year at the low end, and can go as high as $25,000 to $30,000 for really large organizations. It's an annual license. We do have individual designer license options that are limited to a specific Canvas user ID within your Canvas system if you prefer to just have 1 or 2 instructional designers use the tools and not open it up for access to your broader community. And we can also be flexible in terms of starting with departments. If you want to just start with your online courses or your business school or something like that, we can certainly figure out a license for those departments as well. We also offer training as part of the first year. There's an additional fee for the training and implementation. That training is about 5 to 6 hours worth of material that we'll take your team through on Zoom calls that are recorded that you have access to. There's also a help desk that you can submit tickets and ask functional questions, as well as submit bugs or any of those kinds of things. One other thing to add, we do offer sandbox accounts that are free. If you want to try out the tools on your own, we can set up a sub account for you in our Canvas instance that has the tools already implemented and set up for you to try out. And we're also happy to jump on a call and do a personalized demo for you and your team if you want to dig in and see the tools up close a little bit more. So just contact us at cidilabs.com and make those requests. So with that, I think we're getting pretty close. Jillian, I don't want to take too much, go too close to the top of the hour, but.
Sure, we've got just about 2 minutes left. So if there are any last questions that you would like to address, please feel free. We will have this recorded, and that recording will be sent out. So that's, I know, a very popular question, and we'll have that available.
Yeah, I'm looking at the questions. They're still coming in. I'm sorry we don't have time to address all of these. We will, maybe we can work with Jillian to answer some of these asynchronously and provide some sort of documentation to accompany the recording to get through some of these. But there are some very specific questions as well. Again, you're welcome to reach out to us specifically, and we're happy to answer those directly for you. But sandbox accounts are a real popular option. So if you have a chance and if you're thinking about it right now, go ahead and request one at our website, and we'll get those set up within the next few hours for you.
Great, thanks, Mike, and thank you everyone for attending today. Really appreciate your time, and hope you all have a great day. We will be in touch with the recording and possibly some additional information that might be useful based on all the questions that were received.
Thanks again, Jillian, for hosting this, and thank you, Alicia, for participating, and Kenneth, we appreciate your time today. And thanks to everyone for attending.
Bye-bye.